a GUI that has a scroll list with a scroll bar, and the items on the scroll list actually come from a separate text file, and it displays in the GUI. So here's a bit of an example. This little GUI I've got, this will show you different films. When you go submit, it'll show a whole list of films. Click here. Here's a lot of films. I've repeated the list a couple of times, but if I've got a scroll bar, I can actually scroll here and it scrolls through the list from top to bottom. So there's the list. Now I have that list come from a separate text file, so I'm actually dragging those list items off this text file here. So that comes from here. And all this information, all the folders, is actually coming from its own separate folder here. So there's your list here. There's a GUI with a list box
It's
there.
22 hours.
Okay, so how does this all work? Well, it's a bit complicated, but I'm going to show you a couple of places where I got where I got the information from. First off, this is a GUI that was on the website, and I've just modified it a bit for these purposes here. So if you go to soft dev, my website, you'll actually see it, but it's on there. But I've actually got the raw code. GUI design, simple frame, GUI. So that's where I got that information from here. So to build my basic GUI, then I sort of built it up from there. Okay, so let's go to a couple other places where I got the information from and how I sort of went about doing this. First thing I did is I dragged my my code, and I just started off with just a simple GUI, which is this one just here. So I modified it, so I've just got home page, page 2, page 1, page 2 and page 3. If I run that, you'll just see that it's just a simple GUI with 3 different frames. And here we go here. This one says show films, films showing. I haven't got anything in here yet. Go to page 2, go to page 3, goes home again. So that's all it is, and I've actually added a section on here. Now there's a rather excellent website that has a lot of this information here, how to build a simple list box, and here is the information here. So what I encourage you to do whenever you get one of these examples, don't try to put it in your GUI first, create it in a separate file. So what I did is I started off, and I just started off here. Here it is, it's a modification of this, and I'll just see how I just basically tested how it works. If I run this now, what that does is it builds this simple GUI. No scroll bar yet, but all we have is we import tkinter. We basically say we want a list box, so this is what this widget does. This is master, so I've called it master. I'm using the pack method here. I'd like you to use the grid method later on. And then I've basically created a list, and as I go through the list, I add an item, and when I've finished that, it'll actually go end and it'll stop actually adding those items to the list. Very, very simple. And what I did from there is I said, well, I know how to do that. What I'd also like to do is be able to pull items from a list and put those items in a list and put those items in here. So then I thought, well, how do we import items from a list? So this is another one that I showed you. So before, so if I go Listbox 2, goes into a bit more detail. That's not it. Load there. Alright, I'll show you on this one here. Now the text file that I've got linked to this GUI is in here. It's called list.txt. Here it is here. What I do is I open this up with the R method, the read method. Then I've put this into a list called my list. And then I've said for line in F, so every time it goes through a new line, it's actually going to put that new line into a separate item on a list. And I've got print my list. Then what I've done here, that's just for testing purposes, I then use this bit of code. So for item in my list, I'm going to put a new item in this widget here. And if I do that, you'll find out that I've created a menu with a scroll bar. So if I now scroll that, I'll actually play this whole GUI again. I run this. Here we go. So I go show films, and here are all the films here. So that's the method, that's how to do it. So I'll just go over that again. So and to get the scroll bar, I've just basically went back to this page again, and here it is here. Here's all the items that had a scroll bar in here. So I just cut and paste that code, and I tweaked it a bit, and I've actually come up with this GUI here. So that's one way to do it. That's how to have a GUI with a scrollable list items in the GUI. And I'll add links to this on a web page, and so you'll be able to try